As the legal battles against Donald Trump continue to unfold, they've become a focal point for political discourse, legal debates, and public attention. With multiple investigations, lawsuits, and criminal cases taking place across the United States, Trump's legal landscape remains as contentious as ever. This past week saw new developments in the New York fraud case and the criminal case tied to his actions surrounding the 2020 presidential election. While these updates have not provided any definitive outcomes, they have raised significant questions about what the future holds for the former president, his legal challenges, and the potential consequences he faces. One viewer, Davey McLean, raised an intriguing question. If Trump's trials, past and future, go down the toilet, will he still have to pay his outstanding fines? And will his conviction stand, even if there's no punishment element? This question encapsulates the growing uncertainty surrounding Trump's legal fate and the way in which his legal team is working to delay, dismiss, or mitigate the charges. It also highlights the concern about whether Trump, despite the severe legal ramifications he faces, might still escape meaningful consequences due to his political position. In this video, we will dive deep into the latest developments in Trump's New York criminal case and civil fraud trial, explore the potential delays to his sentencing, and address the broader implications of these legal proceedings. Could Trump's sentencing be delayed until 2029? Will he face consequences? Or could his immense legal troubles dissipate due to political power? Let's break it down. The New York criminal case, delays, strategies, and the specter of 2029. The New York criminal case against Donald Trump remains one of the most high-profile legal challenges of his post-presidency life. Spearheaded by Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg, this case centers on 34 felony counts related to the alleged falsification of business records. These charges are connected to Trump's role in inflating the value of his properties in order to secure favorable loans and avoid taxes. However, recent developments have created new layers of complexity. Prosecutors handling the case submitted a letter to Judge Juan Merchan, requesting a delay in the proceedings. The letter specifically mentioned that the legal team intended to file a motion to respond to Trump's request to dismiss the charges, but they needed more time to finalize their legal strategy. The motion, set to be filed after December 9th, signals another round of procedural delays in what has already been a drawn-out case. What is particularly noteworthy in this development is the prosecutor's acknowledgement that the legal landscape surrounding Trump has changed. Now a political candidate with a possibility of returning to the White House, Trump's status as the president-elect could lead to requests for further delays. In their letter, the prosecutors noted that if Judge Merchan found it necessary, sentencing could be postponed as far as 2029. This prospect of delaying sentencing until Trump's hypothetical second term in office raises significant constitutional and political questions. As the situation stands, Trump could potentially finish his second term, leaving the White House, and then be required to report to court for sentencing. Given that he is already in his 70s, a delay like this could mean that Trump would face sentencing well into his 80s, assuming he does not secure another political victory or further legal exemptions. While some might find the idea of a convicted former president receiving a delay until 2029 absurd, the reality is that the legal system is navigating uncharted waters. As much as this could be seen as a temporary loophole or a political strategy, it's important to note that such a delay would undoubtedly be unprecedented. There's also the fact that the case has not yet been resolved. No conviction has been handed down yet, and Judge Merchan has yet to make a final ruling on whether the charges should be dismissed. This new political reality, in which Trump could be both a presidential candidate and a criminal defendant, presents unique challenges for the legal system. Could political office act as a shield against accountability? Could the courts be forced to allow this delay to avoid further disrupting the political landscape? The coming months will shed light on these questions as Trump's legal battles continue. The civil fraud trial, financial penalties, and potential fallout. In stark contrast to the criminal case, Trump's civil fraud trial presents a different set of challenges. led by New York Attorney General Letitia James. This civil case focuses on accusations that Trump and his company, the Trump Organization, engaged in systematic financial fraud by inflating the value of their properties to gain favorable loans and tax advantages. This case has already resulted in major legal setbacks for Trump. In early 2023, Judge Arthur Engoron ruled that Trump had indeed engaged in fraudulent activity, issuing a ruling that stripped him of control over some of his most significant assets in New York. These penalties have resulted in a financial burden that continues to grow, with Trump facing hundreds of millions of dollars in fines. However, what makes this case particularly significant is that, unlike criminal cases, civil cases are not subject to the same immunity protections that apply to presidential duties. Therefore, Trump cannot shield himself from the consequences of his actions through political office. While Trump's legal team continues to appeal the court's decision, experts believe that these civil penalties are likely to remain in place, regardless of the appeal's outcome. This is because state-level civil cases typically don't have the same political entanglements that federal cases do. As such, Trump will likely continue to face heavy financial penalties, including the growing interest on the fines that have already been levied. Moreover, even if Trump somehow manages to avoid some of the criminal consequences, the civil fraud trial could continue to haunt him. Judge Engoron's ruling also included limitations on Trump's ability to operate within the state, including restrictions on his ability to serve on the board of directors of any company doing business in New York. These penalties would remain in place even if the criminal charges are dismissed, essentially making it harder for Trump to conduct his business operations as he once did. Unlike the criminal case, which is bogged down in legal technicalities and political considerations, the civil fraud case offers a clearer path to accountability. However, it's not just about the fines. Trump's entire financial empire is at risk, and it remains to be seen how these restrictions will affect his business empire long-term. The damages could be substantial enough to ruin him financially, even if his legal team manages to delay or reduce the criminal charges against him. The political implications: a legal strategy or a shield. The intersection of Trump's legal battles and his political career adds another layer of complexity to this already tumultuous situation. As the frontrunner for the 2024 Republican nomination, Trump's legal woes cannot be separated from his political fortunes. In fact, his legal troubles may even enhance his appeal to a large segment of his base, who view him as a victim of partisan persecution. However, the more Trump uses his political platform to deflect legal scrutiny, the more he risks damaging the integrity of the legal system. Many of his supporters argue that his prosecution is a politically motivated attack designed to undermine his presidential candidacy. This framing resonates with millions of Americans who remain deeply skeptical of the political establishment and the media. Yet, there is a growing concern that Trump's status as a political candidate might be used as a shield against the full weight of the legal consequences he faces. Could a political leader, even one facing criminal and civil charges, manipulate the system to delay sentencing indefinitely? Critics argue that such delays would set a dangerous precedent, one that could weaken the foundations of justice and accountability. Supporters, however, claim that Trump is simply being subjected to unfair legal attacks and that his legal battles should be suspended while he is running for office. This political balancing act creates an unstable dynamic. Trump's supporters may see a delay in sentencing as a victory, while his critics may view it as yet another example of the powerful circumventing justice. The legal challenges facing Donald Trump have become a defining feature of his post-presidency, with both criminal and civil cases shaping the trajectory of his political career and personal future. The criminal case in New York, though mired in delays and political considerations, could potentially extend all the way to 2029, leaving Trump in a precarious position. Meanwhile, the civil fraud trial offers a clearer, though still uncertain, path to financial penalties and operational restrictions. While it remains to be seen whether Trump will ever face full accountability for his actions, one thing is certain: the legal consequences of his actions will have a lasting impact on his legacy. Even if Trump manages to escape criminal convictions or delays his sentencing until after his political career ends, the civil fines and restrictions imposed on him could be devastating. Trump's legal battles are not just about him. They are about the integrity of the rule of law and the limits of political power. As the nation watches, it is clear that the outcome of these cases will resonate far beyond the courtroom, shaping not only the future of Trump's empire, but also the very fabric of American democracy. In the coming months, as more legal proceedings unfold, the question remains, will Donald Trump face the full consequences of his actions, or will his political power continue to shield him from true accountability? Only time will tell, but one thing is for sure, this legal saga is far from over.